Project 10-1 covers the compress utility. This utility is not normally used on Unix systems, so we're going to go ahead and cover it just because we'll get practice with installing software and we'll get practice with the command line. So log in to your CentOS 7 as root. And we'll do yum install in the program in compress. When we hit enter, it goes out and searches the internet, finds the package for installing. Once it finds the package, it'll ask us yes or no. We'll hit Y to install. We could have avoided that question by doing yum space -y space install space in compress. And it would not have asked us the yes or no question at the end. It would just went ahead and installed. Now we want to copy the services file to our home directory. I could use the tilde, or I could also use a period here since I'm already in the home directory. Now ls services, ls-l services will show me the size. I see it as 670,000 bytes in size. Let's compress it. So we type compress -v and services. Tells us it's renamed to services.z. So I'll do it ls-l services.z and check the file size now. It is down to 213,000 instead of 670. Let's uncompress. The file will be reverted back to its original name and the original size. Now some other compression tools I'm going to go over in the video are more popular, especially in Windows, the zip command. You type in zip, the name of the compression tool, and then a listing of files or directories that you want to put into the services.zip file. So in this case, we want to compress services and put it into services.zip. So now if I look at the size, services.zip, I see that it is even smaller, 136,000. So compress only got it down to 213, and Windows Zip program got it down to 136,000. I still have the same file because what zip does, it makes a copy and puts it into an archive. Compress simply compresses the original file and renames it, and we don't have a copy of it. So I still have services here. Other utilities, gzip. That works kind of like compress. It should have renamed services and put .gz on the end. So let's look at its size. We get down to 136,000, and if we compare it with zip, it's slightly more compression. With zip we had 136,227, and with gzip, a very common compression utility for Unix and Linux system, we got down to 136,088. Now I'm going to unzip it, type in gunzip or g unzip services.gz, so I get the original file back. So that one right there is real popular with Unix. Another popular one with Unix and Linux is BZ2. It should offer better compression than gzip, but it's not on some old, 1990 based Unix systems, so it's not quite as popular when you download stuff off the internet. So BZ2 or BZip2, sorry, BZ2 is the file extension. BZip2 services, and that should put a services.bz2 extension. Let me add the -l. So we can see the size. You see it has an even better compression ratio. We're all the way down to 123,000 with it. I believe BZ2 and GZIP both have options to increase the compression ratio. It takes longer to compress if you do that. I like to just stick with the defaults though. Now to uncompress it, B unzip to services.bz2. Kind of like G unzip before. This one would just simply B unzip to. So we'll extract it again, and now we'll go back and look at the lab. You can play around with compressing other files and comparing the sizes. You can look at a picture compressing different stuff and see there are probably different compression ratios, and one probably works better for certain things than others. So it's down here at step 6. We want to copy the etc host file and the init tab file, and we want to put it in our desktop folder. I don't seem to have a desktop folder created. I may have not done a previous lab where we probably should have started X as root, and it would have created one. Let me look. LS. I don't see a desktop folder, so I'm going to make it. So now we have a desktop folder. Now I can retry the command to copy host and the init tab file into desktop. Notice the uppercase D. When I did mkdir, I used an uppercase D for desktop. Now I want to compress -vr desktop. So both files are now compressed. Notice it renamed each one of them to host.z and init-tab.z. So ls-lr uppercase R desktop shows us the files and that they are both compressed. Now we'll uncompress -vr desktop. Now let's look at it again. And you see the files have been uncompressed, and you can also see the size difference, the smaller .z files and then the larger uncompressed files from 97 to 158 and 369 to 419. You should have very similar sizes for your system. Now to compress the output of a command, ps-ef pipe compress -v, we'll put it into a file. I'll look and see that the file is created. Check the file size. If I try to view it with the cat command, it will become garbage on the screen. If I use zmore or zcat, it means uncompress and view the file so that you can actually see what's in it. It's more than one page, so zmore will allow you to show page at a time of the compressed file. Continue playing with Project 11-1 and playing with the different compression ratios towards the end with the gzip and bzip commands. And you might want to pause the video to complete that. I'm going to go ahead and move on to 11-2 now. And this one is using the tar command in conjunction with bzip or gzip. You will need to focus on 11-2 for the final. You will be using the tar and bzip and gzip to uncompress and compress files. I have a practice out this week for that. So the tar command stands for tape archive. Normally, on old systems, you would tar the directory or hard drive, and it would be sent to a tape device. Today, you normally put tape archives, meaning collect all files into one file, and then compress that one file. And then you'd put it on a web server for download, or put it, copy it to another hard drive or USB or something like that for backup purposes to take off site. There's still tapes used today, but they're becoming more rare as the internet speeds have increased and we're archiving across the network. So tar has a few switches here. -C stands for create or compress. The V, basically verbose, tell us what's happening. And the F means for file name. The F is always at the end. So a lot of these switches you could have put like VC or CV, but F has to be at the end because F has a option that must follow it, and that is a file name. So test1.tar must follow the F in the switch. And we're going to compress the folder Samba. Not compress, sorry, this is uncompressed. Samba, the -V shows us what files were put into the tape archive. So lmhost and smb.conf were put into the one file. Now, we'll look at the file. Again, notice the F is at the end. So the T shows us everything that's in the file, shows us the directory and the two files that are inside the directory. Now we want to make a directory. /new 1, change into the directory, and we'll use the tar command. The -X is for extract, V is to show us the files on the screen, and then F, specify the file to extract. So it is under our root directory, and we named it test1.tar. When we hit enter, it's going to extract the contents and create the folder etc, Samba, and then put the files inside of it. All of it will be under new file. So if I type in ls, I see the etc folder, ls-rf will recursively show us all of the files and put the /, let us know what's files and what are directories. Now I'll change back to my home folder. Use tar this time with the -Z CVF. The -Z says to filter the tar through the gzip program. So here we're creating an archive called test2.tar.gz, and you should always put .tar.gz if you're going to create a tar archive and then compress it, so everybody understands it. It's a multi-file tar archive that has been compressed, so you know how to uncompress it. This time, instead of just creating a tar archive, we added an extra -Z switch. So we're creating a file, and then -F is the file name, and then Z is after the file is created, we're running it through the compression algorithm. So ls-l test star will show us the two files, one of them being 20,000 in size, the other one being 4,000 in size, of course the one being compressed with the gzip command. Now I'm going to make a directory and call it new2. Change into that directory, and I'm going to uncompress with the same -Z switch, so filter this through the gzip program, except instead of C for creating, we use X for extract, and then V and F to show us what's going on and to specify the file name. So the file's extracted. ls, I see it's the same thing as before. There's one other switch that's sometimes common. Remember we talked about bzip2. If you want to run this through bzip2 instead of just gzip, you'll do the following. Let's go back to the root folder. Let's make new 3. And this wasn't part of the lab. Let's go ahead and compress the Etsy Samba folder again, but we'll use bz2 this time. So I'm going to do tar-j. I'm not sure why they use J, but that runs it through the bzip2. So we're going to create the file test3.tar.bz2, and we're going to use the Samba folder again. So now if I change into new 3, and I can run tar-j just like before, and an X for uncompress, and then specify the file test3, and you see it extracts and works just the same way. So it's just a letter change. Let me look at root test star. Let me put the -L so we can see the size changes. So 20,000 for the one, and then gzip 4274, and the bzip2 slightly smaller at 4224. Okay, make sure you do the screenshot before you delete anything. And I'm going to change back into my home folder, use rm-rf, and I'm going to delete the new directory. I created 1, 2, and 3. So delete anything with new 1, 2, or 3 at the end. So I'm going to delete all of those. I see that they're gone. And I'm going to remove test star. And I see all of the test files are now gone.